Alright, in this part, we're going to focus on multiplying polynomials. So, we're still going to be working with properties of exponents or law of exponents, but be mindful that when we're multiplying with same base, we're going to be mainly focused on adding the exponents. So that's the majority of the time, that's the property that we're going to be using. Alright, in the first example, we have negative 3x times the difference of 4x minus 6. So I have negative 3x outside the parenthesis, directly in front of the parenthesis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute my negative 3x to the 4x and the minus 6. So I'm simply going to multiply them. But be mindful, on this x I have an invisible 1, and this x I have an invisible 1. So the coefficient, negative 3 times 4, that's going to be negative 12. X to the 1 power times x to the 1 power. I'm going to add these exponents up, so it's going to be x squared. And I'm going to do negative 3x times negative 6. It will be plus 18x. So I finished multiplying. Now I got to make sure my terms are in order, meaning that I put the highest exponent first, and then starting from the next one, lower. So negative 12x squared plus 18x to the 1 power. This is in order, so this is my final answer. Alright. In the second example, I have 5m to the third power times the sum of negative 2m to the third plus 4m to the sixth. So I'm doing the same process. Since my 5m to the third is directly in front of the parenthesis, I'm going to distribute to the negative 2m to the third and the 4m to the sixth. Alright, so my coefficient, 5 times negative 2, that's going to be negative 10 with the m. Now the m's are same base, and they're multiplying, so I'm going to add the exponent. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 5 times positive 4, that would be plus 20. With the m, since the m's are same base, I'm multiplying, I'm going to add the exponent. So 3 plus 6 is 9. Alright, once I finish distributing, multiplying, I'm going to put it in order. My m to the 9th is higher than m to the 6th, so plus 20m to the 9th will go first, and then minus 10m to the 6th power. And then that will be our final answer. Box this up. To review, when you have a monomial term, negative 3x to the 1 power, 5m to the third power, then you're just simply going to multiply. And then make sure you follow the law of exponents, and in the same base, add the exponent together. In this example, I have a binomial term multiplying with another binomial term. So when you have a problem like this, that means that we're going to FOIL. Now, in some cases, some people, they use a box method. So you're allowed to use a box method. In this video, I'm going to be using the FOIL method. If done correctly, regardless if you use the box method or FOIL method, you should get the same answer. So if you prefer using the box method, go ahead. But I'm going to be using the FOIL method. Make sure to double check when you're multiplying, and make sure to double check to get the same answer. Now my first term, 4x, will multiply to the 3x and the minus 2. So 4x times 3x, remember this x has an invisible 1, that has an invisible 1. So 4x times 3x would be 12x squared. 4x times negative 2 will be negative 8x. Alright. Now the second half of FOIL is my 1 multiplying to the 3x and the negative 2. 1 times 3x would be plus 3x. 1 times negative 2 would be negative 2. So when I finish foiling, I'm going to combine like terms. So these are my like terms. So it will be 12x squared, negative 8x plus 3x will be negative 5x, and then bring down to minus 2. I finished combining like terms, and then my terms are in order, starting with the highest exponent going down. So this is my final answer. In this next example, we have 4m minus 3 times 4m plus 3. So two binomial terms multiplying to each other. Now this one we call a difference of squares because you see how both of them have 4m and both of them have 3, but one has minus 3 and one has plus 3. So it's going to be a difference of squares. And you're going to see why. So just like before, my first half of FOIL, I'm going to do 4m times 4m and then 4m times positive 3. So 4m times 4m, remember you have the invisible 1 on the m. So 4m times 4m will be 16m squared. 4m times positive 3 will be plus 12m. Alright, the second half of FOIL, negative 3 times 4m, and then negative 3 times positive 3. Negative 3 times 4m will be negative 12m. Negative 3 times positive 3 will be negative 9. Alright, so after I finish foiling, combine like terms. So these two are here. Now what you notice is that this is a positive 12, that's a negative 12. So these two will cancel out, it would be 0m. So 16m squared plus 0m minus 9. Now when it's 0, you can just let this go. So my true answer would be 16m squared minus 9. So that would be our final answer. Now the reason we call it a difference of square is the 16m squared and the 9, they're both perfect squares. So that's why we call it a difference of square, because we have a minus. 16 and 9, or 16m squared, both of them are perfect squares. And that way is from 16m squared and minus 9, you can factor that and then you should get these two answers. So for example, the square root of 16m squared is 4m. The square root of 9 is 3. In this next example, we have the square of 5m minus 3. So when you have the square of 5a minus 3, I'm going to rewrite it. So it basically means that you're going to write the inside 5a minus 3 2 times with parentheses. Just like that. So now it just looks like the previous example. We're just going to FOIL. So 5a times 5a, and then 5a times minus 3. So 5a times 5a, that's going to be 25a squared. 5a times negative 3 would be negative 15a. Now the second half of FOIL, negative 3 times 5a, and negative 3 times negative 3. Negative 3 times 5a would be minus 15a. Negative 3 times negative 3 will be positive 9. Alright, finish with the FOIL. Combine like terms. So it will be 25a squared. Combine negative 15a with minus 15a would be negative 30a. Bring down the plus 9. So finish combining like terms, and my terms are in order. Then this is my final answer. So, when you have a binomial term that is square, it means that we're going to write it twice, and then just FOIL. When you finish FOILing, combine like terms, and then box your answer. Alright, in this example, what you know is that it's a binomial term multiplying to another binomial term, but you notice that we have higher exponents in the previous example. So we're going to FOIL, but we're still going to apply the property where when the same bases are multiplying, we're going to add the exponents. So my negative 3x to the fourth is multiplying to 5x, and then my negative 3x to the fourth is multiplying to the minus 6x to the third. Now remember, on a 5x, I have the invisible 1 on the x. So when I'm multiplying the coefficient, it will be negative 15, and then my x to the fourth, multiply x to the 1, I'm going to add the exponent, so it's going to be x to the fifth. Negative 3x to the fourth times negative 6x to the third. So negative 3 times negative 6 would be positive 18, and then x to the fourth times x to the third, same base, so I'm going to add the exponent, so it's going to be x to the seventh. Now for the second half of FOIL, I'm going to multiply the 2x to the third to the 5x to the 1 power, and then 2x to the negative 6x to the third. 2x to the third times 5x to the 1 power. So the coefficient when they multiply, it will be a positive 10. X to the third times x to the 1 power, same base multiplying. I'm going to add the exponent, so it's x to the fourth. Now 2x to the third times negative 6x to the third, my coefficient will multiply. 2 times negative 6 will be negative 12. What in x? Because x to the third times x to the third, same base, I'm going to add the exponent, so it will be negative 12x to the 6th power. Alright, I finished multiplying, and there are no other terms that I combine because the exponents are different for each of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in order. So starting with my highest exponent, which is x to the 7th, so it will be 18 x to the 7th power. What comes next is this x to the 6th, so negative 12 x to the 6th. And then x to the 5th, so it will be negative 15 x to the 5th. And then last is x to the 4th, so plus 10x to the 4th. So my terms are in order. This is my final answer. Again, I cannot combine any of the terms together because they did not have the same exponent. X to the 5th, x to the 7th, x to the 4th, x to the 6th. There were different terms, so I could not combine them. After that, I just put them in order, and here's my final answer.